Wijaya and my student number is 02. The World Trade Organization or WTO often harms poor countries by enforcing rules that favor development nations and ignore the economic realities of the global south. Through agreements like TRIPS, it imposes strict intellectual property standards and limit access to affordable medicines and essential technologies in developing countries. Its one-size-fits-all approach disregards differences in capacity, forcing poor nations to compete in global market without adequate protection or supports for their local industry. Additionally, complex regulatory requirements create a heavy burden that disproportionately affects countries with limited infrastructure and resources. Decision making within the WTO is also dominated by powerful countries, leaving poorer members with little influence over policies that deeply affects them. The structural imbalance highlights the urgent need for a more equitable global trade framework that truly considers the need and limitation of developing nations.
Hello everyone, my full name is Tihara and you can call me Isti. So my last name is Zirawan, and then I would like to share my summary of the article The World Trade Organization Harm for Countries. And then so the article argues that although the YTO claims to be fair, it often benefits wealthy countries and the expense of poor ones. And in the Uruguay, around developing nations were pressured to open their markets, but received little in return, especially in our agriculture. Street intellectual poverty rules also limited access to affordable medicaid. Moreover, the WTO's complex regulation burden countries with favorism with, with favorism cause in conclusion it's one size fits all model ignores local realities and a more just localized trade system is needed. Okay, thank you for the listening.
Hello guys, so my name is Muhammad Alfirza Prastia and my studio number is 44. So I will continue argument from article from my group, and summary paragraph 3 is although the two Uruguay round largely benefit developed country. Developing nations, we are not left entirely without gain. One significant advantage was the broad liberalization of global trade, which allowed developing countries to increase their participation in international market. They were also able to exert collective pressure on developed nations, leading to the removal of long-standing import quotas and on textile and clothing industry that are crucial to many developing economies. Furthermore, while comprehensive agricultural liberalization was not immediately achieved, the negotiation created uh, a pathway for future progress in opening up agricultural markets, offering hope for more equitable trading conditions over time. These outcomes took limit compared to the benefits reaped by nation. Developed nation still represent important step forward for the economic interest of developing countries. Thanks.
Okay. Hi, so my name is Muhammad Nabil and my student number is 41 and I am from groups number 7. So today I'm gonna explaining more about my key points about the article that WTO World Trade Organization will affect two developing countries. So my key point is more like a debunk about the article, and my key point is transitional mechanism and regulatory flexibility. So, in international trade, developing countries are not required to follow all the rules right away, unlike developed countries that are more often expect to meet full obligation immediately. Developing countries are given special treatment to help them to catch up. So this special treatment is known as transitional mechanism and flexibility regulation. So this is basically means these countries are allowed to make more time. Make more change, like fewer the rules to following in the beginning, and certain exception based on their economic situation. These flexibilities ag- arrangement are included in major global agreement so that developing countries can gradually adjust without putting too much pressure on the economic or societies. For example, is like changing some laws, upgrading technology, or improving healthcare system can make time and money, resource that developing countries may not have yet. So, by giving them extra time and reduce obligation, international agreement recognize this challenge and offer support rather than punishment. The goal of this mechanism is to ensure the fairness while still encouraging participation in global trade. They help developing countries to protect their local industries, support their small business, and build stronger institutions before fully opening their markets to international competition. In short, transitional mechanism and regulatory flexibility are more important tools that help developing countries to grow at the pace that work for them while still moving toward to greater cooperation and integration with the rest of the world. So that's it from me. Thank you for watching, and I think my friends will continue and talk about his key points. Thank you, guys.
Hello, I am Christina Terangalon and my student number 005. So, I will explain the conclusion. The basis argues that the claim agricultural protectionism in rich nations versus global poverty is not necessarily true. While removing agricultural protectionism in wealthy countries could benefit efficient production in poor countries by opening up markets and increasing prices. It could also harm poor countries that rely heavily on food imported by making food more expensive. Additionally, even if poor countries benefit from higher export prices, their domestic consumers might suffer due to rising costs. Ironically, rich countries and their consumers will benefit most from liberalization as they bear the cost of subsidies. The next concludes that despite some drawback, the current protectionist system is inefficient and distort global agricultural trade, and liberalizing it remains a sound global. Thank you.